Hey friends, so I did this video just for our kitchen table group over on Facebook. I am in the middle of doing a Sunday series over there. It's all about practical living and how we are bringing peace and joy back to our homes. And I thought, you know what? Let me bring this to YouTube and post it on YouTube because I believe that somebody can benefit from these words today. I believe that they are going to encourage you here in the busy season of the month of December. And I'm praying for you as these words really penetrate your heart today. So I pray that you will be blessed by these words. Enjoy, my friends. Hello, my kitchen table friends, and welcome back to another Sunday series. I'm so glad that you guys have tuned in for another one. I am hearing from a lot of you that you are really super liking this series, and so I love to hear from you. If you have found it to be helpful, beneficial, valuable, if you have been able to apply some of these very practical things to your life, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section down below this video, particularly how you have been enjoying these, because they're happening on Sundays all of the way through to March 3rd, which happens to be my birthday. So I'm super excited today because I'm heading to my daughter's house. There is a story time that they do at their local library, and I'm gonna go and we're gonna do library time with my daughter and my grandbabies, and then I'm gonna go do some shopping this afternoon. But I wanted to come on here and I wanted to say something really quickly about something I thought of just this morning. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about how important it would be to communicate this to you as we are talking about what it looks like to maintain peace and joy and hope in our homes, especially this holiday season and beyond. You know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I get this comment a lot. A lot of people will say to me, well, Wendy, you talk a lot about honoring your spouse. You talk a lot about honoring your spouse, putting him in the rightful position in your family, in your home, as the leader of your household. And that's all well and good because you happen to have a husband who is serving the Lord. Can I tell you a couple things? First and foremost, he wasn't always following the Lord. What's happening to my hair? I don't know. I feel like I say that a lot. Let's just go ahead and ignore it. He wasn't always like that. When we first got together, when we were first together dating and we were first married, he did not know the Lord. He was one of those who believed that he was a good guy. He had never committed any great sin. He'd never killed anybody. He was never, he never did anything really bad. And so, of course, he was a Christian going to heaven, right? And it wasn't until we were, I think it was, maybe 7 years into our marriage that he gave his life to Jesus, that he surrendered to Christ, that he became a born-again Christian. And so I understand being unequally yoked in your marriage. I understand that, and I understand what it means to be in subjection to a husband, to a spouse who is not serving the Lord. It doesn't matter that they are not fulfilling their obligation in the family as the spiritual leader that they are supposed to be. We are still to do our part, and it's to respect them, to love them, and to continue to see them as the head of our household, because they are. Scripture tells us that they are the head of the household, that they are the ones who are above the woman. And it goes husband, wife, children. And that is the order that God has laid out for us in the scriptures. It's very clear. And so we have to do our part of honoring our spouse well because of the position, the rightful position that he holds in our home. And that is regardless if we feel like he's doing all that he needs to do, regardless if we find him worthy or not, regardless if he has chosen to submit to the Lord or not. We owe him that respect and that honor because of his rightful position in the family given to them by the Lord. But I want to say something else. You know, I was making my bed this morning, and as I often do, because I make my bed every day, I was thinking about what it means to serve our families. And I was thinking about what it means to do the little tasks that we do every single day for our families. Okay, for those of you who are freaking out, I've pulled over. I'm no longer driving. I was only going down a street that's literally about 15 miles per hour. So I'm stopped now at the gas station. I'm going to finish my conversation. But I started to think about this morning as I was making my bed. And I started thinking about all of the ways that we can serve one another in our families, right? I started thinking about the ways that I make my bed every day, the way that I make meals every day, the way that I take care of the laundry, the way that I clean up the house, even the toilets, and do all of the things that are necessary, the way that I grocery shop. All of those things are ways that I am serving my family, right? They're ways that I am serving my spouse and my family. And I started to think about those people who would argue with me. Now, I don't mean argue as in, you'd yell and scream at me. That's not what I mean. But those who would pose the argument that they don't feel like they need to be honoring their husband because their husband isn't doing their part. Their husband's not serving the Lord. The husband isn't going to church. The husband isn't praying. The husband isn't a Christian. This kind of answers that wrestling point that we find ourselves in if you find yourself in that position. And listen, maybe you even find yourself in a position where your spouse is a Christian, but he's not acting like a Christian, right? He's not in the scriptures. He's not praying. He's not being the spiritual leader. He doesn't know Jesus personally, but yet he's claiming to be a Christ follower, right? Maybe that's you. Maybe this is for you. And so I started thinking about it this morning, and I want to tell you this, and I feel like this will help you to change the way that you think about serving your spouse and loving your spouse, respecting your spouse, and allowing him to be the leader of your family, regardless if he's the spiritual leader or not. When we serve our spouse, actually when we serve anybody, but especially when we serve our spouse or when we serve our families, we are, in a sense, in actuality, serving the Lord. We're serving the Lord. So when I make my bed in the morning, because I know that at the end of the day, my husband and I love to get into a clean bed, and we like our room to be tidied. And when I am serving that way in the morning, I am doing so glorifying the Lord. I am making the bed to glorify and honor God. And by doing that, I am honoring my spouse. But in everything that I do, I honor the Lord first. I honor the Lord in the way that I talk to my husband, in the way that I serve my husband, in the way that I make meals, in the way that I clean toilets, in the way that I go grocery shopping, in the way that I clean our car, in the way that I create household traditions, time-honored traditions that we do in our family for the holidays, the way that I host birthday parties for him or for our family, in the way that you could go on and on and on, in the way that I present myself in the day, the way that I take a shower, put on makeup, do my hair. It's for loving my spouse. I want to take care of myself because I want to do that and love my spouse. But what I'm doing ultimately when I do those things is I am honoring God first. So I am honoring my husband by honoring God. I'm honoring my children I'm honoring my family. I'm honoring those that I've been entrusted to love by honoring God well, by glorifying God in everything that I do. And so when you think about, I have a lot of women who will tell me, I just can't honor my husband very well because he doesn't honor me. I can't respect my husband very well because of the way that he treats me, or the way that he says things to me, or the way that he takes advantage of me, thinks that I'm always going to be the one that's going to make the meals. I'm always going to be the one that needs to take out the trash, right? I don't want to do that because he fill in the blank. He won't do this, right? I'm not going to fulfill my obligation because he's not fulfilling his. Can I tell you that's wrong thinking? And can I also tell you that is the surefire way to dispel the peace in your home? We are entrusted, we've been entrusted by God to love and honor and respect our spouse. And that is regardless if we are receiving honor and respect back. Now, there's a caveat to this. I don't mean that you stay in an abusive situation. That's not what I'm saying. This is excluding when you are being abused, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, any of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the person who would say, I have a hard time honoring my husband because he never lifts a finger to help me, because he never tells me that he loves me, because he doesn't ever compliment what I look like, because he never takes me out on date nights, because he doesn't give me gifts like my best friend's husband gives her gifts. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So can we, instead of demanding that we receive something in order to give something, can we just give something because we are honoring God? Can we say instead, so let me give you an example. Can we say instead, next week, let's say Tuesday is the trash day. Your husband knows it's the trash day. He knows that it's been the trash day at your house for the last 15 years. And it's Monday night. It's cold. You're tired. You're exhausted. It's been a long day. You've put all of the trash out. It's there. He knows that it's there. He knows that it needs to go out. Can we make a decision to say, you know what? He's had a hard day too. You know what? He knows that the trash is there and he doesn't need me nagging at him. I can do it just as easily as he can do it. Maybe this is a way for me to honor my spouse. I know it's a small thing, but just as equally as it is a small thing, we make a very big deal about this oftentimes, don't we? We make a big stink about it. If he doesn't take out the trash, then we're the ones that are going to get upset at him because he didn't do the thing that he was supposed to do. I know that there are several people, women that would agree with me in this, that a lot of times we are guilty of saying, hey, hubby, would you clean out the refrigerator for me? I've got to go grocery shopping. I want to come home and I want to be able just to put, all the good groceries away. Would you just get rid of the leftovers and clean out the refrigerator? And say you get home and he doesn't do it to your standards, to your liking. And he's cleaned it out, but maybe he didn't get all the crumbs out. Maybe he didn't sweep it out. Maybe he didn't use the cleaner that you wanted him to use. Maybe there was something left over in the back that he forgot or he didn't get to. And so then we make a big stink about, yeah, you did it, but you didn't do it how I wanted you to do it. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things that make for a very unsettling environment. And it really makes for an unpeaceful environment in our home. So let's go back to that trash scenario. Can we say, you know what, I can take this trash out just as much as he can. I know that he's been busy. I know that he's had a lot on his plate. Even if that's not true, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he forgot, or maybe he just got tired and he's going to get to it. He's going to try to get to it tomorrow morning. But let's just say, come next Monday night, we decide we're going to take the trash out. And so we do it. We put our coat on. It's cold outside. We wheel that trash can down to the down that long driveway of ours, and we come back. And I want us to think about when we do that, if we do that, this is just an example. This is just an example. If we do that, I want us to think about it this way. I'm taking the trash out to honor God. I am taking the trash out to honor the Lord, to bring glory and honor to the Lord. And by doing so, I honored my spouse. I loved my spouse. I gave my spouse the benefit of the benefit of the doubt. I took my husband, my spouse, off the hook from being perfect. And when we do these things, when we allow ourselves to serve in this way, and we think of all of our serving as unto the Lord, it changes everything. Now I can love well because I'm loving Him. And my spouse and my children and my family and my friends, they're just getting that love and that serving from me as an overflow of my serving the Lord. Does that make sense? I think about this all of the time. My husband is, praise the Lord, he is such a good man. He is better than I deserve him to be. And there are times where, early in our marriage, where we didn't know these things, where these things were not a reality for us in our life. There were a lot of times early in our marriage where we were completely, disrespecting one another all of the time for what we lacked, for what we didn't do, for what we expected that didn't happen. It took us years. It took us a long time to get these things incorporated into our life. But I'm telling you, when we made the shift in our mindset to live this way, it changed everything. And so now we find ourselves sort of trying to outserve the other. In fact, just the other day, I said, we were getting ready to go to bed, and I said, do you need a drink? Do you need something to drink? Do you need a snack? And he's like, yeah, and just get me anything that you want. And so I got him his Gatorade or something that he wanted, and then I got him some chips that he wanted or something. And I came down, and he was printing some things off for me that needed to be printed that I had been putting off to the end of the day, and some tax stuff that we had to work on that he knew that I needed to get to but would forget. And so you see, there is this habit that we are forming when we behave this way, and when we understand that our service to our spouse and to our family and to those that we've been entrusted to love is actually honoring God, then everything changes. Then we willingly participate in serving other people. We long to serve other people because we are living in that overflow of the heart satisfaction we get when we serve God, when we glorify God, when we worship God with our life. So I just want you to think about that today. I hope that made sense. I know that it makes sense in my brain. I would love to hear from you how you are incorporating these things, how you are kind of paying attention to these practical teachings and incorporating them and interweaving them in your life. I'd love to hear from you. I love you, friends, and I pray that you have an awesome Sunday. Bye, guys.